everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of Long Story Short. My name is Allison, and I will be the host of this podcast. I know MTV isn't going to make a documentary about every gal group of mediocre-looking women, so I decided we should podcast. I'm just kidding. I'm really fucking cute. You should totally consider dating me. I'm recording this intro a day before, so my friends wouldn't have to hear me stumble through an introduction 3 times before I decided to do it. So tomorrow, which is later in this podcast for you, I'm going to get with some friends. I'm going to drink some drinks because how else do you talk about whatever we're going to talk about? And we're going to talk about something. I know we have some ideas picked out. There's going to be a few different series on this show. One of the series is calling people you probably shouldn't call. I won't go into detail about that. You'll see it later. You'll hear it later. And unwritten rules that we're writing for you. Basically, like, there's some standard things that, you know, like, nobody has to tell you they're there. But then there's some things that you're like, why has no one told me what I'm supposed to do in that situation? We will tell you. So, yeah, basically, I'm really excited. I think my voice gets like 8 octaves deeper as soon as I know a microphone is in my face. I'm really excited to do this. I hope it goes well. It probably won't, but that's a metaphor if I've ever heard one. Hey, everyone, it's Allison, and I'm here with Kenzie.
Hi.
And Angela.
Hi.
And today we're smoking hookah if you hear that. Today we're going to be talking about how to deal with the morning after you hook up with somebody. So, who wants to start with their first story about what the morning after is and how awkward it is? And then we can talk about, like, what your ideal situation would be in the morning.
I'll start. So, for a while, I was talking to this guy from my hometown, and I was up at school, so he would come to visit me, and he would stay the night. And there was one morning where he just would not leave. He would not leave after we had, like, spent the night together and whatever.
How well did you know him at this point?
I knew him pretty well. He liked me way more than I liked him, but he just, like, overstayed his welcome.
But you guys weren't, like, talking.
No. Well, I guess we were talking, but, like, not seriously.
Yeah.
Not seriously. So we spent the night together, whatever, and then in the morning, he just, like, would not leave. So I was like, hey, I've got this thing in the morning, like, I've gotta go. So I went downstairs, I got ready and everything, and I was assuming that he would just leave at some point, like, say goodbye, something, whatever. And he walked out the door with me, and literally, like, I had nothing to do this day. I just made this up because it was so awkward, and he just was not leaving.
What time in the morning was it?
It had to have been, like, 11, probably. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like 11. And so he just wasn't leaving, and I just, like, wanted my place to myself. So I got ready for no reason, and I walked out the door, and I got in my goddamn car, and I literally just, like, drove away. I just, like, drove around. I was like, okay, like, when I get back, he's gonna be gone, it'll be fine. And I got back, I pulled into my parking spot, he is still fucking there. He was just sitting in his car.
How long did you drive around for?
It was a good, like, 10 minutes or something.
That's too long to pull up a map to get home.
Yeah. She works fast. She definitely had that by then.
Exactly. So that was awkward as well, but just, like, why? Why do you feel the need to just, like, stick around?
Do you think he saw you, like, pull back up?
Oh, I know he did, because when I walked back into my apartment, because I wasn't just going to sit there. Like, he obviously saw my car. So I walked.
You parked even though you saw his car?
I didn't see it until I, like, pulled into the parking lot. So I had to. Like, by the time I pulled into the parking lot, I was like, fuck. Like, I just have to park right now. So, yeah, he saw me walk into his apartment walk into my apartment, and then he pulled out, and he, like, waved goodbye. And I was like, what the fuck? What in the actual fuck?
I guess you could have, like, 10 minutes is, like, short enough time for you to make up something about, like, forgetting whatever you needed, like, at your apartment. You had to go back for that. But, like, you shouldn't even have to come up with excuses to, like, go back to your own house.
Exactly. And it's just, like, I don't know. I feel like most people just can, like, read social situations and when they've overstayed their welcome. And
not boys. Boys literally are the worst at it.
Yeah, and it's so weird. It's so weird because, like, if I were to, like, hook up with someone and, like, stay the night or something, like, even if we were talking, if it's not serious, I get out. In the morning, I'm like, you know, like, good morning, whatever, like, have a good day, bye.
Morning breath. Gotta get out of there.
Yeah, morning breath, you gotta get out there. Your makeup is, like, on his pillow.
Right?
Like,
also, like, the guys who, like, let's say you have sex in the night, and then, like, they'll wake you up in the morning, and they'll want to have sex again. And it's like, I don't want to stick my tongue down your throat. Like, I have been sleeping for a million years. I probably have, like, swamp mouth.
Ew, swamp mouth. Yeah, that's really gross. Have you, like, did it progress after that, or did you cut it off after he was psycho in the morning? That's psycho.
Oh,
it is
no,
psycho.
that was a really bad ending. It actually happened again, kind of. So we went to this music festival. I didn't go with him. He went by himself. I went with a bunch of my friends, and we were staying at this, like, this girl's house for free in the city, and, like, it was just, like, the nicest gesture that, like, this girl has, like, ever done. I didn't know her. She was, like, a friend of a friend of a friend, whatever. And we were, like, walking back from the bar one night, and he, like, came with us, and I thought he just, like, had to go the same way or something to get back to his hotel. And so, like, we stopped in front of this apartment, and he's like, can I, like, come upstairs to, like, use the bathroom or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, of course, right? And so we get up there. He uses the bathroom. I do not know this girl. It's very nice that she's letting me stay there for free. So he uses the bathroom, and then he comes out, and he's like, would it be okay if I just, like, stayed here tonight? Like, I wouldn't need a bed. I wouldn't need a pillow or blanket. I could just, like, sleep on the floor or something. And I'm like,
that's psycho.
That is psycho.
You need a pillow and a blanket. You're a psycho.
Amen. And it's like, he waited until he was, like, in the apartment to like, ask me.
Yeah.
So, like, that was weird, too. And then I was like, I would honestly, like, love to let you stay here, but, like, that would be crossing the line with this girl. Because it's like, I did not know her. And it was the middle of the night, and it was in the city, so when he was walking back to his hotel or to, like, the train or whatever, he got mugged. And
Karma.
He got fucking mugged, dude.
Is that karma?
That's
bro?
karma.
That's karma. I felt so bad. But at the same time, it's like, if you...
What did they take from him?
What did they take? They took his wallet. No. I think they took his phone and his backpack. And his backpack just had, like, random shit, you know, like some drugs and stuff. But, like, he had his money, like, in his pocket or something. Basically, they didn't take his money. I don't think they took his phone.
How did he get a hold of you? Or did he not after that?
He did. He was, like, I think in the morning or something, he like, Snapchatted me, and he's like, hey, I left, like, the festival or whatever, because last night I got mugged when I was, like, walking back or whatever.
He looks like the kind of guy that would get mugged, though, so I'm not even...
Yeah, he's, like, really, really scrawny, and, like, it was summer, and, like, he just, like, if he could be a nudist 24/7, he would.
Oh,
Like,
he's so weird.
He's just, like, this, like, crazy, like, hippie guy, whatever. So, like, he just wasn't wearing a lot of clothes, so he looked like, you know, he didn't have anything on him to, like, defend himself from these, like, two big guys. So, yeah, that's how that ended. He got mugged, and it was...
So that's a whole
bad.
different morning after kind of story.
Yeah.
Getting
yeah.
mugged. And what's your worst morning after story?
It's definitely not as intense as that, but I hate dealing with the morning after, so I just try to avoid it. And this guy was a friend of my roommates, and we were all just drinking the night before and ended up, you know, just kissing and then having sex. Led to that morning after. I it was like probably 7 or 8 in the morning, and I knew we were all, about to wake up. I could hear him rolling around, so I just closed my eyes and just pretended to sleep until he left, because I don't know if I'm supposed to, like, offer him coffee or, like,
making breakfast,
or, like, what if he just is getting dressed and leaving?
Domestic servant.
So, like, I don't want to just sit there and lay in my bed and, like, watch him get dressed. So I was like, I'll just roll around and keep my eyes closed.
Yeah, for
and then
sure.
he left.
That's the best way to handle it.
Yeah, and then everyone was gone. I was like, oh.
Bless his
coffee
soul.
by myself.
Bless his soul. He knew when to leave.
He did. It was.
Is that when it ended, though? Was it like a one-night thing, or
Did
he text you when he left?
Yeah, he said the whole first floor smelled like incense because we had incense.
That's what he texted you?
Yeah.
I want to call him a psycho, but saying thanks for the sex would be psycho. I think texting about the incense is the only not psycho way you
It was just like it was a nice, like, I feel like the incense comment was like, we had a nice time.
Yeah.
It kind of disguised it in there. I don't know. Maybe.
So, mine was weird, but the person was weird. So, we'll call him Alien Boy just because that's the only thing I've ever called him.
Because he looks like an alien.
He thinks he's an alien.
And he looks like one. It's just great.
I'll just give the whole backstory to him because, long story short, am I right? So it was my first time, like, out of my, like, first, like, real relationship. I'm in college, and I've been dating this guy for 3 years. We break up. And so I'm, like, just now starting to, like, meet people. So it was my first time, like, even dealing with, like, Tinder or Bumble. And he was the second guy that I, like, ever met up. The second, and, like, I've only met up with 2 people he was from Bumble. But we matched, and, like, it was kind of, like, a risky match anyway because he only had, like, 3 pictures. None of them were, like, front facing. I don't know. Is profile on the side?
Yeah.
It's like anti-profile. Like they were all profile, I guess. And they were all like super weirdly edited as if he had taken them with like the Mac photo booth app thing, but they weren't. They were like pictures of him that he went back and edited. Really weird. And so we started messaging, and he was like telling me that he works with chakras. He's an energy, what are they called? Energy healer?
Guru?
Something along those lines. He heals people's chakras for a living. Like, that's what he goes to school for. And he, like, he went to school in my city and lived in a town, like, nearby. And so, we were talking for, like, maybe 35 minutes, and he said, like, some weird stuff, but I was at the point where I was like, whatever, like, maybe weird is cool. I don't know. Like, he told me that he is part alien. And at first I was like, that's just a weird thing to say, but it's fine. And so we were talking for like 35 minutes, whatever. And then he was like, can I come over and work on your energy? And I was like, yeah, why not?
Was this after the first conversation you guys had?
This was 35 minutes into his initial text.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, just come over. So all of my roommates had like moved out for the summer at that point because, I don't know, it was like late July. And so I was living in the apartment basically by myself. I had like 2 random like subletters staying there. And I like texted one of my roommates and I was like, hey, this guy is going to come over. Hopefully I don't die. Haha. And she's like, just put a knife under your bed. Like, it'll be fine. So I did. I like got the biggest knife we had and I just like put it under my bed as if I could stab someone. And so he comes over and he like works on my energy, and it takes like an hour, and it was actually so cool. Like, it was cool and real and whatever. He still messes with my chakras to this day. But he came over at like maybe 1 in the afternoon, and he did that, and it took like an hour. So now we're at like 2. We take my dog for a walk, and then he comes back and we watch The Giver together, which is really long. And then he just kind of stays the night. Like, we don't like talk about like if he's going to or not. We had just met that day. And
wait, at this point, like, were you okay with him staying, or was it like he was overstaying his welcome?
I mean, like, I didn't want him to, like, stay the night, but there wasn't, like, a point where I was like, hey, you can leave now.
Yeah.
Like, it was, like, it really didn't affect me either way. And, like, while we were hanging out, he, like, started telling me, like, I feel like this is fate. You're the only girl who has ever matched with me on Bumble. Like, that should have been, like, my first, like, red flag. Like, no one else has matched with him. What? So, and that's when he also, like, showed me the alien that he thinks he's related to.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Real alien?
Yeah, I could probably find you a picture. It was so weird. It looked like an avatar, like, from the movie. And he, like, started telling me, like, some weird things about, like, suppressed dream or thoughts, I guess he had. And I don't know why I thought this all was cool, but it was also, like, he was, like, telling me that, like, I can't drink tap water anymore because it's, like, contaminated by the government. Ugh. Yeah, he was so weird. Bye. Well, he spends the night, and, like, in the morning, he woke me up kind of early, but, like, I woke up to the sound of him, like, turning on my shower. And he, like, came up and, like, tapped me on the shoulder while I was sleeping. And he was like, hey, do you have a clean towel I can borrow? And I was like, yeah. Ew. Nobody has ever, like, I was, like, new to, like, hooking up with random guys. But I feel like it's so weird to take a shower the first, like, night. It's just weird, I feel like, unless you have, like, a thing with someone to, like, shower at their place.
So fucking weird.
So he did that, and then he hung out for, like, a few more hours. He left at, like, 1, then we spent 24 hours together the first time I met him. Yeah, and I think, like, in the morning I just wanted him to leave. Like, I, like, Snapchat him. I guess I didn't want him to spend the night because I, like, told my friends from home that, like, some random guy was coming over, and I apparently told him that he wasn't going to spend the night because I Snapchatted them in the morning, and I was like, this is my face when random boy is showering in my shower. And my friend replied, and she was like, she said yesterday that he wasn't going to spend the night, and now he's showering in her shower. So I guess I didn't want him to. But, yeah, that was a weird morning. I don't remember how I got him to leave. But he was coming from, like, 45 minutes away, too, so I'm sure he just, like, assumed he was going to sleep there.
Yeah, that's, like, the problem with talking to guys from out of town. Like, I didn't realize that would be a problem until, like, my story happened. Mm-hmm. But then it happened again, like, with a different guy who was from out of town. So, like...
Yeah, you can't... Locals only.
Locals only.
That needs to be, like, a new dating app. Locals only.
Locals only.
And your, like, radius can only be, like, 5 miles. Like, neighbors only. They need to be able to walk home afterward. One time I did walk home. It was with a guy that I was friends with. And I think, like... Well, the first time we hooked up, I lived, like, 2 stories below him in the apartment complex. So I like, spent the night because he asked me to. And I, like, just, like, booked it at, like, 6:30, 7 a.m. I didn't say goodbye. And I just, like, walked downstairs. But then it happened a few more times, and I had, like, moved. So I lived, like, probably, like, half a mile away. And I still walked home. I walked home at 3 a.m. one time in the middle of the night because... I was ready to go home, and...
What in the fuck?
I don't know why I didn't even think about, like, calling an Uber, or, like... I mean, the bus would have stopped running by then. You just want to get out. Yeah, I just wanted to get out, so I left at 3 a.m. I'm a leaver.
Yeah,
I'm a believer in the levers.
Well, that's how you avoid weird morning afters.
Very true.
Just leave in the middle of the night.
Like, I usually don't like guys to spend the night... But I don't know how I would feel if, like, we had sex and a guy left me in the middle of the night. Like, that'd make me feel shitty.
Really?
I think so.
That's, like, my ideal situation.
Like, no, I would prefer there to be, like, a goodbye.
Well, yeah, like, just, like, a peck on the cheek and be like, hey, I'm gonna get going.
Yeah,
like, I want to sleep at home tonight.
Yeah, but, like, if someone were to, like...
I want you to sleep at home, too.
Right. But if someone were to, like, sneak out of your bed and, like, shut the door quietly and, like, sneak out of your house, don't you think that, like, hurt your feelings a little bit?
I don't know.
And that's what I do, so I don't know.
No,
I feel like...
It's different.
I feel like me and that guy had an understanding that that's what was supposed to happen. Maybe, I think. I don't know.
Right. But, like, even if you do it to guys, I feel like...
Is this the double standard? Do we need to start talking about double standards? Because I'm not ready for that yet.
Oh, I don't know. I don't trust any of them. That's the moral of the story.
Don't trust boys?
Don't trust boys.
Alright, so... Ange, have you ever left someone?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. He had, like, whiskey dick, so I was like, see you later.
Yeah, what are you supposed to do?
What are you supposed to do? I was like, I'm leaving. And then another guy, like, tried to talk me into staying the night just because he wanted me to stay. And, like, I saw no hookup in sight. So I was like,
He just wanted you to sleep and cuddle?
He did.
No.
He just wanted me to, like, stay and cuddle. And I was like, no, I really have to get home. I have class in the morning. And, like, he picks me up, so I really had to talk him into it because he had to take me home.
That's hilarious.
So I've been talking to, like, a lot of people about this topic just because I think it's really interesting, and it's so weird because, I mean, the point of this segment is to come to a conclusion of, like, this is what you should do, you know?
Right.
Like, that's why we're talking about it, but every person I've talked to is like, no, like, don't do that, do this. And, like, William, when he told his story, that was crazy. Do you remember what he said?
Yeah.
Tell the story.
This girl that he was with the night before, he woke up and heard, like, dishes, and he's like, what, my roommate doesn't cook? And so, like, he walked out, and this girl was making full-on breakfast, like,
She
using
went
all
through
pots
the
and pans.
pantries.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Like, how do you know whose food is whose?
Yeah.
Making breakfast at someone else's
Do you
house
even know his
after a
allergies?
hookup is weird.
No,
yeah,
that's
she doesn't
so
know his
She doesn't know his allergies.
allergies.
She doesn't know what he likes.
That is so weird.
Yeah, and
That's
at first
too
she was
much.
like, at first I thought it was cool, but, like, only a psycho would do that.
Yeah, actually.
Red flag.
Yeah, like, really, the idea of having someone, like, cook you breakfast while you're in bed is, like, a cool idea, but then, like, you've got to think about what person would actually do that, and only psychos.
Yeah. Seriously.
When I talked to Ethan about it, I'm gonna say his name because I want to. He'll appreciate the shout out. When I talked to him, he would prefer them to stay the entire night, and he drives them home in the morning.
Aww.
Like, they're not. No, yeah, it's nice, but it's weird. I say they need to find their own ride home. Like, that is their responsibility. If you're gonna sleep at someone else's place, you find your own way home, and you should know when to leave. Like, you can't leave after 10:30.
Fuck no. There's
People
no
have
way.
things to do. When was the last time you could just stay in bed till 10:30, like, without you, like, actually avoiding responsibilities? Like,
Probably when I was like 15. I
Yeah.
don't know.
yeah. So that's some shit. But if we had to decide,
What would be
what's
morally
the new
correct?
rule about mornings? What are we saying?
Don't spend the fucking night? I don't know.
I say, if you're drinking, leave at like 6 a.m.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you're drinking and you can't drive home, yeah, leave at 6 or 7 and just pretend that you have, like, a big kid job that you need to get to.
Lie about something.
Yeah.
I have something.
Lie.
Yeah,
Lie to
Literally,
me.
yeah. Seriously.
Don't hang out. Don't make
Don't
breakfast.
hang out. Don't make breakfast.
Don't use my
Lie.
shower.
use my
Especially,
shower.
like,
Oh
with
my
the
God.
drinking thing, if you guys, like, had a whole, like, whatever when you guys were drunk, you're gonna have to have a conversation about that sober. Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah, that just sounds like something I don't want to do in the morning, so I'll just, like, sneak out and
Yeah.
shoot you a text later. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think the right thing to do is to leave early, and if they're awake for some weird reason, say goodbye, but leave anyway.
You could just leave. What if we started leaving?
I try to.
We just, like 7 a.m., got up in our pajamas, went to our friend's house.
Do you
And just
prefer-
never came back.
Do you
and they would just
prefer
never know.
hookups to be at your place or their place?
Their
Theirs.
place, because then I can leave.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about kicking a guy out. Like, it's very rare that... I feel like, for some reason, at least the experiences that I've had, the guys always spend the night and they always linger in the morning.
Yeah, you have, like, the weirdest collection of lingers.
I really do. And, like, I literally couldn't think of the last time that a guy, like, left.
In the middle of the night? Oh my
in the
god,
morning?
lingers. We're dealing with lingers.
Yeah.
I don't, maybe it's in the air here, because they literally all linger.
They all linger.
Send them home. Send them home.
What do you say? How do you get someone to leave your place?
Without lying.
No.
Oh, with
Like,
lying?
how if you wanted someone to leave your place, what would you say?
That's the only guy that has ever been a hookup that spent the night at my place. But I don't know what I would say. I would probably say, like, I have work or something.
Right, you would make up an obligation. But that's where
That's
I ran. Yeah, that's where I ran into the issue with the guy who remained in the parking lot when I left, because I was like, oh, I have to leave at this time. So you would think, like, you know.
They would leave at that time.
Exactly. But if they're walking out with you, that's a different story.
Yeah. Yeah, his lingering was weird because he lingered in the parking lot. You guys left together.
And taking a shower at someone's place, that is the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
That's the weirdest. If you're listening to this and you're even considering showering at anyone's place that isn't your significant other, do not do it. You don't know. Don't touch their loofahs. Their conditioner is expensive. Like, I don't even want to think about you using their razor.
Oh,
like,
Jesus.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't
do it.
So, I guess the only rule... I say the rule is, like, tap into those social cues. I don't care how awkward of a person you are. You should be able to, like, recognize when someone doesn't want you there. And if you can leave between the hours of 3 and 8, do it. Do not stay past 10:30.
Yeah, never.
Unless, like, you guys talked about the night, like, talked that night saying, like, let's go get brunch in the morning.
Right.
Or after this... random hookup. For some reason, do you want to see a matinee? I don't know. But that's the only reason you would ever want to stay past 10:30.
Exactly.
So, anything else you guys want to talk about on the topic of the morning after?
I don't think so.
That sounds like a no. Alright, so you heard it here first. We tell you exactly what you should do, exactly how you should do it, and you should only listen to us. Your opinions are invalid. Bye.